Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast For the Love of Drama. I'm going to be talking to you today about the plot, which is an element of drama that gives shape and character to any performance. The order of events occurring in a play make the plot, or the storyline. The connections between events and characters form an integral part of the plot, and the audience learns what the characters do, how they interact, how their lives intertwine, and what happens to them in the end. There are a million ways of plotting a story. I'm going to tell you just one, which is called the 5-act structure. This has been around for hundreds of years. It originated in classical drama and was used by playwrights including William Shakespeare. An older style in terms of today, but still used frequently in many different kinds of drama. So Act 1 of the 5-act structure is the exposition or the introduction. And this provides the audience with the backstory of the characters, tells them all they need to know about them and their world. Act 2 is the rising action or the rising movement. And this continues the movement of the story towards its climax. Act 3 is indeed the climax, which is the story's turning point. Often misunderstood or misinterpreted as dramatic, when it really is a point where the characters face their choices or fate and decide what to do next, for better or for worse. The falling action is the action that comes immediately after the climax has taken place and draws the story or the plot towards its conclusion. That was Act 4, the falling action, and Act 5 is the catastrophe or resolution, depending on whether it's a tragedy or a comedy. If it's a tragedy, then someone or everyone die. If it is a comedy, the protagonist lives happily ever after. Now, the 5-act structure is used in a great many different ways. It's used for a lot of films and a lot of plays, as we've already discussed, Shakespeare. And a good example is Macbeth. This play fits perfectly within the 5-act structure. So I'll just go through that with you. So here is a breakdown. Act 1 is the prologue or the exposition, the introduction. A war is ending in Scotland, and General Macbeth and his loyal friend Banquo are victorious. However, 3 witches cast a spell on Macbeth, planting within him a lust for power. They meet him and tell him that he must kill the reigning monarch, making himself Thane and king. Act 2, the rising action. Macbeth and his wife, Lady Macbeth, murder King Duncan and kill everyone else that opposes them. Lady Macbeth has Banquo killed to stop him from dissuading Macbeth from his ambitions. Act 3, the climax. Macbeth holds a banquet and the murdered ghost of Banquo appears. Lady Macbeth becomes paranoid and hallucinates as both her and Macbeth reflect on what they have done. Act 4, the falling action. General Macduff begins a plan to kill Macbeth and restore the rightful heir to the throne. Macbeth meets with the three witches who lie to him and tell him that he will survive any plot that is made against him. And Act 5, the catastrophe. The castle is stormed and Macbeth is killed. And filled with remorse, Lady Macbeth dies by committing suicide. So, we are reaching the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed that. Not that cheerful, is it? But very interesting on how a plot works. And I really hope that you picked up a few bits. I'm learning all the time. I'm really enjoying doing this podcast. And I hope to continue talking about the elements of drama in future episodes to come. And all that remains for me to say is enjoy the weekend. Look after yourselves, and I will see you all very soon for another episode of For the Love of Drama. So goodbye.